Sardine run is one of nature's most impressive events. A gigantic number of sardines move together simultaneously. They form miles and miles of compact sardine shoals. During this mayhem, sardines are chased by countless predators. From dolphins to whales, various species of sharks, and marine birds.
But scientists are only interested in the sharks. Strange as it seems, the shoals are hard to find. To get near them, you need a fast inflatable boat, guided by a pilot spotting the shoals from the air. A costly combination.
Great shoal from Spring Bottom Bluff, 10 miles southeast of where you are. Just follow me. Hurry up, dudes. Hundreds of dolphins already got my message.
With a limited budget, Fred and his crew have only 2 days to complete an ambitious scientific program.
On the Sardine run, we worked with Jessica Escobar, a scientist who studies the dynamics of the black-tipped shark populations. This is not the most significant population during the Sardine run. This shark is quite common on the coasts of East and South Africa. She tries to point out the different family lineages of these sharks, to see if they have common origins, and up to what point the different populations present on the East and South African coasts are linked.
028 01.
What makes it complicated during the Sardine run is that there are many species at the same time, many different sharks, but very few blacktips. This is not the most popular species during the Sardine run. There are many dusky sharks and copper sharks, so the difficult part will be to concentrate on this precise species.
I'll text you the GPS coordinates, over.
Fortunately, the pilot spots a crowd of gannets that reveal the presence and location of the sardines. With a text message, he gives the boat directions.
All right, Mark says apparently you must move up to Hamburg, south from here. Guys, please do me a favor, hold on tight. It's a little bit rough out there, and it's a long drive. Hold tight.
Fred works on this project with his teammate, William Winram. Although he's over 50, he continues to participate in scientific expeditions, and also in competitions, and pursues free diving records. The two men share a strong and long-lasting friendship.
William Winram and I work as a team. He's a Canadian freediver. I met him in 2005, and I do almost all my missions with him. We're an inseparable pair.
Sardine oil. Well, my biggest concern.
What?
Get stabbed by one of the gunners when they die. No, really.
Yeah, but they kill themselves. They mistake and they hit something, break their neck.
It would break yours as well.
For me, the most dangerous are gannets, seabirds that hit the surface as they plunge from 25 meters up. They dive bomb at speeds up to 60 miles an hour and can go down to 10 meters just with their momentum. You need to be careful because a 6 or 7 centimeter beak can cause major wounds.
Yeah. Okay.
A day on the Sardine run is 9 or 10 hours on an inflatable boat, getting into the water 15, 20, 30, or sometimes 50 times. Because the sardine shoals move very quickly, the predation phases around which the activity is concentrated last a very short time. Sometimes it's only a few seconds, a few minutes at most, so it's really tiring. With conventional scuba gear or a rebreather, getting into the water is really tedious. When you freedive, you just jump off the boat and get in the water. It's more easily done.
Will gets in the water with a spear gun to collect samples of shark flesh that will be used to perform biopsies, essential for understanding the genetic lineage of these sharks.
Les fusils qu'on utilise pour faire
We
les
use
biopsies sont
standard
des
spear
fusils
guns for the
standards du
biopsies.
commerce.
Only
Seule
the
la
arrowhead has been
flèche a été
modified.
modifiée. On
We
a
just
modifié
modified
les
the
embouts,
tip to create a
pour
punch
avoir
which
un
collects a
petit
piece of the
emporte-pièce
animal's
qui va
flesh,
récupérer
so we
un
can
peu
immediately
de
bring it
tissu
back
de
to the
l'animal
boat
pour
and
pouvoir tout de
store
suite
it.
le ramener au bateau et qu'il soit stocké.
During the Sardine run here in South Africa, the greatest difficulty is that the visibility is not so good, and also that the water is cold, much colder than elsewhere. Both dusky and black-tip sharks that we come across during the Sardine run look pretty much alike, especially with the poor visibility. The only way to distinguish them perfectly is to see the tip of their nose, and sometimes you only see a part of the animal.
Not easy under these circumstances to identify a shark.
It's good to work with Will and Fred. They have a lot of experience with the animals, so they can read them, and they're very efficient of seeing if the animal's going to be dangerous to them or not.
The dangers of the sardine run are all around you, since you find yourself in the midst of a shoal of sardines being chased by the planet's largest predators.
Gannett's dive bombing very few sardines, invisible sharks. The task seems near impossible.
Oh, incredible. There's the explosion of the birds as they hit the water. Just boom, 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 boom. With dolphins. Really amazing. But there's no shark. Yep.
They're not coming up to the surface like the dolphins are. They are definitely just waiting for the food to fall down in the water, come and actually take it deeper in the water. Yeah.
Oof.
This means going deeper into colder, murkier water. A complicated job for these free divers who have not eaten in order to increase their performances. An empty stomach burns less oxygen.
Before diving, we have to prepare ourselves. We don't eat before getting in the water. We just drink to stay hydrated. It's a question of common sense.
Dependent on sporadic text messages, the quest for elusive sharks puts a strain on the body.
We spent 10 to 12 hours at sea in very cold, harsh conditions. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but this time, it's even worse than I thought.
To locate the sharks, there's nothing like team effort. This time, Jessica joins Fred and Will. But she doesn't have their diving skills to get beneath the sardines and communicate with the sharks.
One way of inciting the encounter is to try and attract the sharks. Usually our mere presence attracts them, but with bad visibility, I often use throat noises. We make this kind of noise which tends to produce vibrations and imitate the sound of a wounded fish, and then the sharks usually come directly towards us.
They always use the same method, arousing the shark's curiosity. This time, in open water. They could shoot and collect a flesh sample, but it's not the right shark species. The arrow remains in its sheath. The black-tipped sharks did not show up. Jessica observes these hesitations from the surface, but what has she seen from above?
But the visibility is really, really poor.
I saw two black tips about 4 meters deep.
No, it's the duskies.
They were smaller
And
duskies.
it's not a species of shark, because I saw the shape of the body and the snout, which is very different from the spinner shark or the dusky shark.
For me, for sure, it was duskies.
They look like black tips, but they're not.
The row is sparked by the lack of biopsies and the freedivers' strong personalities.
We like to make up our own minds. We're pretty hard on ourselves, so we only listen to ourselves, and we only have faith in ourselves.
Forget the sardine run, because if the sardine run's going north, you'll have more black tips. If it's starting south, you'll have more duskies, and we're really south. So the trick might be to go north and bait. Yeah.
Difficult anyway.
Yeah.
So the black tips are just gonna be whenever there is a gap.
So maybe tomorrow, if the weather permits, we just go north and we plan to bait instead of chasing the sardine run and see if we can bring some black tips in.
Yeah.
We should think about that tonight. Let's do a little thing up and...
Yeah, let's do that.
There's only one day left to perform biopsies. The team is under pressure.
It's very complicated. We have to factor in so many different things. On the one hand, we have the wild coast here in South Africa, which is very windy and the sea is rough. Plus, we work with a huge shoal of sardines, which depends upon currents and winds, and we never know where it's going to be. That's a lot of variables.
The next day at dawn, they head north, where the water should be clearer.
Marcus, all good?
To increase their chances, the team uses a PVC tube which contains hundreds of frozen sardines. Its smell should attract sharks. This time, no warning sign on the surface. They must take the plunge. The first to appear is an unwanted guest, a tiger shark. Will it deter the smaller sharks? The clear water provides answers. Dozens appear. Black-tipped sharks finally make an appearance. But the smell of sardines and the threat of the tiger sharks causes chaos and makes it difficult for Fred and Will to target them.
At times like this, you really need to act on instinct. You can't think about what's going to happen. You just rely on your gut and act according to what you feel.
Female or male? Thank you. East.
564 and east 028 01 500. You got that, Jess?
To obtain a significant overview of this population, samples must be collected from as many sharks as possible. Thanks to these biopsies, Jessica Escobar is able to prove that black-tipped sharks live in sedentary populations off the coast of the Indian Ocean. The sharks at the Sardine Run do not have the same genes as those in Mozambique. This valuable data allows reliable fishing quotas to be established.